I wish peace were not just...
But in English, what are they? The verbs. The verb is the heart of a sentence. When we're communicating, we need verbs to say something. Whatever we say, we're going to use a verb to express our action or our condition or whatever we want to express. We need a verb. If I say John school, if I say John school, it doesn't mean a lot because I will understand John is at school, John has gone to school, John or whatever. But if I put a verb in there, then that's going to make my sentence make sense. Yeah, because if I say John school, it doesn't make sense, does it? So I need to put a verb there. That's why the verb is the heart of the sentence. So let's go. In English, you go two groups of verbs. On one side, you go regular verbs, and on the other side, you go irregular verbs. Some people it can be confusing. Say, is she giving us English lesson or French lesson? No, it's not English lessons. It's French lesson. But for people who know English, for you to understand this thing in French, you need to understand it in English first. When you understand them in English, then it's going to be much easier for you to understand them in French. So let's go for English. In English, you've got two groups of verbs. One group is regular verbs first, and the other group is irregular verbs. So what do you call regular verbs? Let's say to walk. To walk. If I want to put it in the past, whatever form I'm going to use in the past, it's not going to change because my walk will remain the same and I just need to put ed at the end. So yesterday I walked. Today I have walked. So I've got a past participle of this verb. I have walked. I've used an auxiliary which is have and past participle which is walked. I've just put ed at the end of my verb, but my walk hasn't changed. The root of my verb is the same. It doesn't change. That's what's called regular verb. If I say to go, if I want to conjugate this verb to go, it's going to be different. Because if I say today I go, yesterday it's not going to be I got. I'm not going to put ed at the end of go. It does work that way. This is an irregular verb. So yesterday, what I did yesterday with the verb to go will never be like I walked. It's going to be I went. Different. Completely different from the original verb, which is to go. To be a regular verb, it has to take ed at the end. If it doesn't take ed at the end, then it's not regular. It's irregular if it changes. So to go will be yesterday I went. And today I have gone. My past participle for this verb is going to be gone. And my simple past for this verb is going to be went, which you can see are different. We got three different words there to go. So go, we got go, gone, and went, which are completely different. That's where they're called irregular verbs. That's what they call irregular verbs. So in English, you got these two groups, regular verb and irregular verbs. Regular verbs, all of them take ed in the past and they never change. And irregular verbs change. To eat, I ate, eaten. To go, I went, gone. To see, I saw, seen. So these are the verbs you obviously know better than I do. So when we come to French, it's kind of similar thing. The same way you know the regular and irregular verbs in English is the same way you're going to need to know the regular and irregular verbs in French, which are in three different groups of verbs. In English, you got two different group of verbs. In French, you got three different groups of verbs. It's simple. You can't forget them because the names of the groups are premier groupe, deuxième groupe, troisième groupe. So first group, second group, third group. Simple. Premier groupe, deuxième groupe, troisième groupe. How do you know them? How do you know the groups of verbs? It's easy. Let's go. Premier group and deuxième group are regular verbs. So they keep the same root all the time, no matter what. The root never change. They got the same root and you can just change the ending of it. Third group, which is troisième groupe, this is a group of irregular verbs. So let's go for the first group first. If you want to know a verb is in the first group, it's simple. When it is not conjugated. In English, we say the verb is at infinitive form when it's got to in front of it. If I say to go, to eat, to sing, to dance, to speak, these verbs are not conjugated. they are the infinitive because of to in front of it. But in French, it's different. Instead of having something in front of it, you're going to have something at the end of it. So you're going to have the ending of the verb. All verbs of the first group have the same ending at the infinitive. They end with er. All of them but one. Only one verb on earth ending with er but doesn't belong to the first group. This is aller. You spell it A-L-L-E-R like other verbs, but this doesn't belong to the first group. I will explain why later. So let's say manger, M-A-N-G-E-R. This is the first group. Danser, D-A-N-S-E-R. This is the first group. Sauter, S-A-U-T-E-R. This is the first group. Bouger, manger, danser, and they sound A at the end. They sound A. The last sound of it is A. E-R. E-R sounds A. It's like aller, manger, danser, sauter, bouger. All of them are first group but aller. So first group, ER at the end, which is ER at the end. When you see that, it's first group. Regular verbs. I will explain why, but this is regular group. First group, regular group. So premier group, regular verbs. Deuxième group, all the verbs in second group sound ER. So the first group we said it sound E at the end. The last sound is E. On the second group, the last sound is ER. So I-R. And this one is a bit tricky. We said in the first group, you have all the verbs ending with ER but aller. In the second group, you got all of them ending with IR and sounding ear. But you got lots of verbs sounding ear, ending with IR, but don't belong to this group. Why? Because there's a selection. All the verbs ending with IR belong in this group only and only if when you conjugate them in simple present, they go the ending of I, ils sont, is. Let me explain. Let's take an example. Finir. If I take finir, if I conjugate it in the simple present, it has to sound I, ils sont, is, which means I have to say je finis, I. Tu finis, I. Il finit, I. Nous finissons, ils sont. Vous finissez, ils finissent, is. That's my ils sont, is. If I don't have that, je finis, tu finis, il finit. Nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent. If I don't have that with a verb, it doesn't belong to this group, to the second group. So, it's going to go to the third group. Let's take another verb. Choisir, to choose. Je choisis, I. Tu choisis, I. Il choisit, I. Nous choisissons. Vous choisissez, ils choisissent, is. I've got my ils sont, is. Je grandis, tu grandis, il grandit. Nous grandissons, vous grandissez, ils grandissent. Je vomis, tu vomis, il vomit. Nous vomissons, vous vomissez, ils vomissent. I still have my ils sont, is. That's the condition to belong to this group, second group. And if you have that, they all regular. Finir, my root is going to be fin. And I've got ils sont, is to add at the end of all of them. So this is another regular group. And the last one is the irregular group. Let's start with aller. We said aller doesn't belong to the first group because it's not regular. Why is it not regular? Let's say manger. I will say je mange, tu manges, il mange, nous mangeons, vous mangez, il mange. You can see clearly that we're keeping the same root, which is man, and we're changing only the ending of it. Let's go for aller. I will never say je alle, tu ailles, il aille, nous allons, vous allez, ils allent. We never say that. We say je vais, tu vas, il va. Nous allons, vous allez, ils vont. We're changing the root. Instead of having je aille, tu ailles, il aille, we're having je vais, tu vas, il va. We've gone far away from what we had originally. Je vais, tu vas, il va. Nous allons, vous allez, ils vont. This is an irregular verb, proper irregular verb. That's why this verb doesn't belong to the first group and it goes to the third group. Third group is a group of irregular verbs, so each verb has its own specific way of being conjugated. So let's go to the verb that look like second group. They end with ir, like venir, partir. But when we conjugate them, if we don't have ils sont, is, they don't belong to the second group. Let's try it. Venir. Can I say je venis, tu venis, il venit, nous venissons, vous venissez, ils venissent? No, it doesn't make sense. No. So this doesn't belong there because it's going to be je viens, tu viens, il vient, nous venons, vous venez, ils viennent. We're changing. Let's say partir. Je pars, tu pars, il part, nous partons, vous partez, ils partent. We're changing. I don't have je partis, tu partis, il partit. It doesn't have second group has to be ils sont, is. If I don't have it, that's not the second group. And then another verb, sortir, to go out, sortir. Je sors, tu sors, il sort. Nous sortons, vous sortez, ils sortent. So now you can see clearly that the first group, all of the verbs ending with er at the infinitive, and when you conjugate them, you keep the same root. The root never changes, you just change the ending of it. And the second group, all of them ending with ir, but with the condition, when you conjugate them in simple present, they have the sound is at the end. If not, there's not in the group, and otherwise they're going to go to the bin. I call it bin. I personally call the third group bin because that's where you see all the verbs you go ending with er, like aller, the only one ending with er, aller. So er, aller, ir, which is ir, venir, partir, sortir, and many others. O-I-R, avoir, devoir, falloir, voir, O-R-E, faire, dire, lire, etc. So this is the third group. This is where you got all the irregular verbs. You need to learn them by heart. We're going to say them group by group and tense by tense. For the time being, you got to learn the groups of verbs and the pronouns so that you can be able to conjugate your verbs. That's the end of our lesson today. I hope you enjoyed it. I say it again, if you have any question, feel free to ask any question you have, or you want to know anything I didn't explain. Feel free to ask any question. I will reply to you. Just subscribe in the channel and ask your question. It's free. And also, before the end of the lesson, as usual, you got homework to do. So your homework today is going to be learning all your pronouns. Subject, only the subject, the one doing the action. That's the most important today. The one doing the action or the one being described. Je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle. You need to learn them by heart. Je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle. That's your first homework. And the second homework is going to be to identify all the verbs you can see, you come across. If you come across a verb in French, how does it end at the infinitive when it's not conjugated? How is it? Is it like manger, er, finir, ir, boire, re, aller, er? You need to identify the groups of the verb. Each verb, put it in a group. First group, second group, third group. Next lesson, we're going to see how to conjugate these verbs. In the meantime, enjoy! And I'll meet you again next week.
I wish peace
Bye.
were not just an empty word.